Hi, welcome back to another video. This is Jordan with Books with Brushu, and today we are going on a little book shopping adventure. So this past week, my library had a sale, so I went and checked that out. Plus, I went to a Barnes & Noble and a couple of used bookstores. So please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into some book shopping. Okay, so I just got to my local library's book sale, and I got here early because I figured there would be a line out the door, because that's what I heard, that library sales are usually crazy, and that is not the case. There's no line. I'm pretty sure that most of the cars in the parking lot are employees. So I guess I'm just gonna sit here for the next 45 minutes and read a little bit. Maybe move my car a little closer. All right, I will check back in with you after the sale and do maybe a little mini haul. Okay guys, so I'm about to head out on a little adventure today. I am going to drive about an hour south of me. I'm going to go to Barnes & Noble, and I'm going to go to a couple of used bookstores and also Goodwill. I don't have a Barnes & Noble or any used bookstores by where I live, so I have to drive a little ways out of the way to get there. So that's going to be our little adventure today. I did forget to haul the books that I got at the library sale yesterday. I got 4 or 5 books. They didn't have any that I really wanted, but I got a couple of historical romances, and I got an omnibus that had 3 books in it. After I got home and looked it up, turns out it's books like 4, 5, and 6 in a series. So I don't know, and it's some author I've never heard of these books, so it just looked interesting. And then I got the 5th book in the Children of the Earth, or Earth's Children, something like that, series by Jean Azul, I can't remember her last name, or his, I don't know, their last name. It's, the first book is Clan of the Cave Bears, and so I did find book 5 there. I am going to head out. Okay, so I just got out of Barnes & Noble, and I got 1 book, and I got my tote bag for being a Barnes & Noble member, and then I got In the Veins of the Drowning. Now, I saw this book on, I think, Laura Home something, Laura, on YouTube, and she said it's so good. She's reading it right now, or she just finished it, and she said it's so good. So this is the book that I got at Barnes & Noble today. So now I'm going to head over to some of the used bookstores, and I will check in with you later. Okay, I am back home now after a kind of disappointing day, unfortunately. So I did start the day off at Barnes & Noble, and like I said before, I did end up getting In the Veins of the Drowning and my bag, which I really like. And then from there, I went to a used bookstore, and unfortunately, they had a really good selection of books, and everything was nicely organized, but the books were just too expensive. They had like mass market historical romance books. So you know how beat up those get. The spines were all broken, and you know, they were just not in great shape and faded and everything, and they were $5 each. Like, I'm not gonna pay $5 for a beat up book, you know? So even though it was a really nice store, I didn't end up getting anything there because their prices were just too high. After that, I did go to a Goodwill. mostly because I'm on the hunt for some Halloween costume pieces. But I did find one book there by Lavrel Spencer, and this is Small Town Girl. So this is an author that Christy Reads a Lot has enjoyed. And so since I saw this book by her and it was only $2, I went ahead and picked it up. I don't really know what it's about. 18 years ago, young Tess McPhail left tiny Wintergreen, Missouri for Nashville and never looked back. Now one of country music's brightest lights, Mac McPhail is a millionairess many times over whose career is her life. At 35, Mac has no time for marriage, children, or kinfolk, until her sisters insist she comes home to help care for their widowed mother. Assuming a month in Wintergreen will be merely dreary, Mac is unprepared for what awaits her. After almost 2 decades of public adoration, she is suddenly a non-person. Insulted by her jealous older sister, enraged by her intractable mother, ignored by Kenny Cronick, the next-door neighbor she mercilessly taunted all through high school. A handsome divorcee who dotes upon his teenage daughter Casey. Kenny is widely respected in the community. Now he refuses to give Mac even the time of day. Once she discovers Casey is a promising country music talent, Mac assumes the role of mentor. She gradually becomes an integral part of life in Wintergreen, and the feigned indifference between Mac and Kenny turns to playful bickering, then passion. By month's end, Mac has not only grown to treasure the priceless solidarity of family and community, but also opened up her heart to love. Since this author comes highly recommended, I picked up this book. Oh, did my air just turn on? I have the windows open. I'll show you the books that I got at the library sale. So I got Joanna Lindsay's Hearts Aflame. And after I looked this up on Goodreads, it's actually the second in a series. These were 50 cents at the library sale. So Kristen Hardrag met the icy fury in her captor's crystal green gaze with defiance. She was the prisoner of Royst Wyndhurst, but his slave she'd never be. This powerful Saxon lord had at last met his match in the Viking beauty, his equal in pride, in strength, and in the fierce, hot hunger of insatiable desire. I have cat hair all over my face. But Kristen could not know the torment that divided his soul, how he ached to hold her soft, supple body, thirsted for the ringing joy of her laughter, yet hated her for an ancient crime that was not her own. I also got Remember When by Judith McNaught. And again, I get a lot of my historical romance recommendations from Christy Reads a Lot. And Judith McNaught is an author that she really loves. Alone on a moonlit balcony at Houston's White Orchard Charity Ball, Diana Foster has no inkling for the extraordinary journey that would begin that night. Recently jilted by her fiancé for a blonde Italian heiress, an insult delivered via a sleazy tabloid, Diana felt obliged to attend the ball, if only to uphold the sparkling, steadfast image of her family's beautiful living magazine. Very publicly unengaged, Diana knew that certain socialites were already spitting nasty rumors. So why was billionaire Cole Harrison closing in on her with 2 crystal flutes and a bottle of champagne? Then I also got Devil in the Highlands by Lindsay Sands, and this does have a nice step back and some art on the back too. So I picked this up because it has to deal with the Scottish Highlands. So I like historical fiction books about Scotland. So this is They Call Him the Devil. He is the most notorious laird of Scotland, fierce, cold, deadly, and maybe even worse. Yet, Eva Linda has just agreed to wed him. Anything she thinks is better than her cruel stepmother. Though Eva Linda should be wary of the rumors, she can't help but be drawn to this warrior, for the devil of the Highlands inspires a heat within her that is unlike anything she has ever known. And then I got the 5th book in the Earth's Children series. And this is The Shelters of Stone. So this is the 5th book. The first one is Clan of the Cave Bears. And I have not read this series yet, but this book was, I don't know, $1 or something. And then this is the omnibus that I spoke about earlier. That's actually book 4, 5, and 6 of this series by Judith Peya and Michael Phillips, The Stonewick Legacy. The first, they're like 2 separate trilogies, and the first one's like Stonewick something, and this one is Stonewick Legacy. So technically these are books 4, 5, and 6, and I didn't realize that obviously when I picked it up until I got home and looked it up on Goodreads. But this is, I think it's in Scotland. I'll have to pull it up on Goodreads. This synopsis says, Strangers at Stonewick is the first book in the Stonewick Legacy and continues the Ramsay family story portrayed in the 3 previous books of the Stonewick trilogy. It's a lot of information, thanks. The Stonewick fortune is being stretched to its limits, and the family tries to bolster the town's economy, with Allison representing a new sustainability to change and corrupt. The family is once again at the crossroads of destiny. Okay, that is not helpful whatsoever. Doesn't tell us anything what the book's about. Okay, so let's go to the first in the Stonewick trilogy. 17-year-old Maggie Duncan is torn between her obligations as the dutiful daughter and her hatred of her father's cruel pursuit of money and power. But on the boundary between childhood and womanhood, Maggie discovers it is not her father who stands in the way of her happiness, but her own tightly held bitterness. Drawn to a man quietly struggling to overcome his past, Maggie must learn to let go of hatred and embrace divine love and forgiveness. I don't know. It doesn't sound great, honestly. Let me see. The rating for the first book is 4 stars. So, I mean, it's pretty highly rated, but it doesn't sound great. So, I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep this one or not. We'll see. But that is my little haul for today. I wish that there were more, but I was really hoping to find a bunch of historical romance at the used bookstore, and I just wasn't going to pay $5 each for them. So I might stop by the library sale again to look for the first book in this series, but I don't think I saw any more of her books there, so I might not. We'll see. Or to see if I find number 6, but whatever. Okay, so I wish I had been able to get more footage of me actually shopping for books, but the bookstores were so packed today. So that one clip from Barnes & Noble is all that I got, because the used bookstore was so packed. And then the Goodwills, there's hardly a book section. They weren't very good, and they were also really packed. So I just wasn't able to get much footage today, unfortunately. But thank you for tuning in to this little book shopping day, 2 days with me. Let me know down below if you have any good historical romance books that you enjoy, and any like good used bookstores that might be around Georgia, since that's where I live. But please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next very exciting reading vlog. Bye.